Hey, everybody, welcome to Marketing Mondays. I am joined by the curly haired one to my left, Chris Wharton. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Bill?
I'm tired.
I feel you on that one.
Huh? I had 2 soccer games yesterday. You only went to 1.
Yeah, hopefully yours are better than the soccer game I went to.
I think we lost 7-0 in the first, 7-2 in the first game, and then the second game was 6-0. They won, and Oakley scored 2 goals. So that was actually a fun game on the second go around. All right, so let's jump right in. Marketing Mondays. This is where we drop all the marketing knowledge you guys need to optimize your listings, do off-platform marketing, build out funnels, Facebook ads, all that type of stuff. So, Chris, let's talk about retargeting. You've been getting a lot of questions about retargeting. What is it? How do I set it up? And I just want to set a premise for you guys before we get started. If you're going to run any type of ads, you need to be spending 20 to 30%, really 25, 30% of your overall budget needs to go to retargeting. If you're just running one Facebook ad or one LinkedIn ad, and you're not doing anything behind it, it's not going to work. You know, you have to have multiple touch points. So, excuse me, Chris and I are working on a funnel, right now. And what will we start this funnel with, Chris? Probably 4 to 6 primary ads. And I think in the mapping out of the funnel, we have at least 3 retargeting ads with 3 emails that are going behind it to move people, through that sequence, through that funnel. Does that sound about right?
Right.
What?
Sounds right.
Oh, okay, cool. Awesome. So why don't you kind of just answer some of the questions that you've been getting on retargeting? Because I think it's super important for those of you guys that are brand new. But before Chris does that, please say hello and let us know your first name and what city you are from. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments down below.
Absolutely. So this all came about because a lot of people are running ads. They're running them to Airbnb or VRBO or sometimes to their own direct booking or landing page. And then that's it. They didn't have anything on the backside of it. And so it's a simple numbers game of you run an ad, you put some money behind it, a bunch of eyes are seeing it. But if they only see the ad once, then their ability to convert to actually take a booking is super low because, like anything, it takes multiple touch points. So I always like to use Nike or some other things as examples because I want to bring it home to things that we deal with on the everyday, which is we shop for things online and then we get retargeted by those companies on Facebook or on Instagram or wherever, and we see them over and over again. And because of that, that's usually what moves the needle for us, right? So if we're kind of on the fence, hey, do I want those pair of shoes? Do I not? But they appear back in my feed, then they appear back in my feed again and again and again until finally I get to the point where like, all right, I'm actually going to buy those pair of shoes. So and that's a big difference between like the e-commerce world or physical products versus what we have, in that the thing that someone, especially on Facebook, isn't actively searching for your specific listing or property. They are on Facebook doing whatever you do on Facebook nowadays, doom scrolling basically through, updates and profiles and all that kind of stuff. And your ad comes across. They may like it, they may see it, they may actually click to view more, but they may not be ready to make a booking decision. It may be the wrong time of year. They may be like, oh yeah, that looks really great, I should think about that. But they aren't necessarily in the active looking phase. And because of that, retargeting is so important. So you need your property back in front of them over and over and over again. So retargeting is super, super simple. You have a piece of code called the pixel on Facebook has it. And basically it allows Facebook, as the company holding all the targeting, to be able to track you kind of where you go. There are pixels literally on every website, including we use StreamYard to do these broadcasts. I see that they have a pixel on their account right now, and I know they do because I get retargeted with StreamYard ads all the time because we're in here all the time. And the pixel allows basically an advertiser to connect with Facebook. So Facebook knows that I, as an individual, Chris, went on Facebook and I visited this particular page. And then I, as an advertiser, can say, hey, Facebook, I want anyone who visited this page to see this new ad. It really is that simple. And like you mentioned, you're leaving money on the table if you're doing the first initial push. You said a word earlier, a lot of people that aren't in the marketing world probably don't even think about, and it's funnel. And that's because the reality is when you are advertising, you truly are creating what looks like an actual funnel of wide at the top, narrow at the bottom. And through each phase of the funnel, it gets narrower and narrower. So at the very, very top of it, that's where you have the initial ads, where you're trying to reach as many people as possible. And as people take action, they watch the video, they click the link, and it moves down to the next phase of the funnel. As it starts to narrow down, you get less and less people. And that middle section is where the retargeting is the most important, because it helps you narrow those people down even more to the actual action takers until you get to the bottom of the funnel, which is where you actually have the people who book and stay. A big difference, though, between what we do and what is the traditional e-commerce world is that someone may have intentions to book, but because you don't have the dates available, they can't book. And so it's a little different than just like, do I have a product or not, or is it my shoe size or not, or anything like that. That someone may love your property, may be vacationing where they're going, but just because you don't have dates available for the dates that work for them, that might be their only objection for why they can't book, which is why retargeting is so important and so cheap, that even a dollar a day, a few dollars a day to be able to get your stuff back in front, that's important. And one thing I think most people don't think about is that it's not directly related to advertising, meaning that anyone who visits my landing page, I can retarget whether they came from an ad or not. So if you use them in buy, sell, trade groups, if you use them in email marketing, any of these other ways, however someone comes to your landing page, I can retarget them with a Facebook ad. It doesn't matter where they came from, as long as they went to the landing page, I'm able to retarget them.
So let's unpack that for a second, right? Because a lot of people get really, I don't want to say upset, but they get frustrated that somebody doesn't book when they do the buy, sell, trade group strategy, on Sunday when they posted out at lunch after church on Sunday. And now it's Monday, and I've had 200 people reply, is it available? Is it available? Is it available? Right? And they get frustrated because they have to do this work, but yet nobody books. Well, that's where the retargeting comes into play, folks. That's where you have 2 or 3 retargeting ads to where they click on your listing, they comment, is this available, or how much is it? Or they give you the snarky one, is it really $1, when you put the dollar price point in there? Then you reply to them. You're trying to drive them to your direct booking link. That's why you should always have the call to action, book here and save money. Those of you that are trying to raise your rate on your direct booking website to charge what Airbnb does and make more money are just fucking stupid. You want it to be less so you have a call to action, right, Chris? To drive them there. Then you're earning the opportunity to actually market to them through the retargeting. And that should be you like this and talking about your value propositions. And it literally, it is so important. You're going to increase probably 30, 40% of the conversion rate off of organic social media, off of buy, sell, trade groups, whatever it is, email marketing, when you're retargeting with something like this. That's why it's so important. I did pop in the link. I know every time we talk about this, people want to know, how do we learn how to do this? Well, this is a training that Chris and I have done. The Facebook has changed 47 times since we've done this, so the back end might be slightly different, but this is a very affordable training that shows you how to do exactly what we're talking about today with, retargeting. If you're not going to do the retargeting, please don't waste your time and effort and money in setting up Facebook ads. So somebody asked about the $5 a day recommendation. You guys recommend that per property, correct? There's a million different ways to control your budget. And one thing that I think is really important, I think Scott Hill might have mentioned this from Market My STR. There's a guy named Dennis Yu. He's based out of Austin, Texas, and he's been in the same world that I've lived in and Chris has lived in for the last 6 years, which is around digital marketer, which is Ryan Dice, Perry Belcher, all these guys that are based out of Austin. Well, it was actually Molly Pittman that started this strategy, and then Dennis kind of borrowed it and has really made it popular, and it's the $1 a day strategy. So if you're going to spend $5 a day and that's all you have in your budget for one property, and I probably wouldn't spend a whole lot more than that. You definitely want to target the top 5 cities, right? So you can combine that. You can type in St. Louis, Indianapolis, Chicago, whatever, but run 5 ads with $5 a day, and either let Facebook's dynamic creative create and optimize the ad for you, or you run 5 ads at $1 a day, and then you see which one's going to perform at the highest conversion rate, or that whatever your objective is going to be. It could be video views, it could be whatever, driving traffic to your sales page. Then you select the winner, and then you stop the other 4 and move those $4 over with this one, and you turn it into a $5 a day budget, right? So I don't want you just to go and run one ad and put $5 a day behind it with 0 retargeting. Run at least 4 or 5 to get started, and do a combination. And you got to test like an image and then a carousel with your top 5 or 6 or 7 images, and then a video, and figure out what works. So it's just, I can say video works if it works for me. That doesn't mean if you suck on video that it's going to work for you, or if you have an ad that is not as creative as what Chris would design in an image, Chris's image might outperform your image. So those are all things that you have to take into consideration when you're setting it up. Chris and I really break that down inside that training. I linked it in the comments. You guys can check it out if you're interested. But it's really about testing, right, Chris? I mean, that's really the biggest thing. It doesn't matter if it's us. It doesn't matter if it's a super property versus, beach property versus mountain property. It's like you have to really invest a little bit of time to figure out what's going to work and what's not going to work.
And there are 1,000 possible combinations. That's the fun part for me, is that you can play with all these different options of, do I narrow it down by region? Do I narrow it down by city? Do I narrow it down by demographics? Do I do some combination of the two? Then you get into, and we talk about this in the training more, that there's logic involved. So it's this and this versus this or this, and kind of what that difference makes narrowing down an audience or moving it around. But I do know that you can spend more money. There's no limit really to how much money you can spend on Facebook. You can spend as much money as you could possibly want to spend on it. So because you aren't going to spend $1,000 a day, like, Nike, I can't imagine what Nike spends in a day, hundreds of thousands of dollars across campaigns. But because you aren't spending significant money, you want to be prudent with the money you spend. And the best way to be prudent, not just is how you figure out the plan, how you test, but also that you do retarget so you're getting the most out of each dollar you spend.
So I'll give you an example, Chris, on ramping up that budget, right, for everybody. This funnel we're getting ready to deploy, and I pray to God it's going out in like the next 24 to 48 hours. We'll probably start with like 25, maybe 50, probably $50 a day on the budget. And I'm going to say, Chris, turn it on. Let's run the budget. We'll talk about who we're going to target, lookalike audience, all this other stuff. That $50 a day will probably be around $40 on the primary ad and around $10 on the retargeting. So we'll let that run most likely for a week, and then we'll track what our conversions are all the way through the process, from percentages of video that's watched, because we'll always use video, click-through rate on an image, blah, 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 all the way through. And Chris will set up the Facebook dynamic to choose the creative and the title and everything, and they'll do a mashup, if you will, together, and create their own ad. We'll select the winner, and then if we're generating positive revenue off of that, then we'll probably jump to $100 a day. And then if we let that run for another week, then we'll probably double to $200 a day, right? If we keep seeing those results. Now, if we get to $200 a day and we see that the results are not producing, we may have to pull back a little bit. But that's going to go in and look at about every 7 days. That becomes super important to be keeping your eye on what's going on. I don't know who this is, but why is that not showing? There we go. Facebook user, whoever you are that is in 30A, if you're a beachfront property and have a king size bed, either go into my link yesterday and put your listing in it, or DM me your link. I'm still looking for that 30A beachfront property. Could be a 2-bedroom, could be a 3-bedroom, can be a condo, can be a house. I don't care. I've got $1,000 a night budget. Right. But the one thing that I can't find, Chris, is a king size bed. And and you guys may think that this is stupid, but this is marketing, folks. Avery came in and made a comment on my post yesterday in the group that I'm looking for this. and I can't find it. And I got frustrated. I went through VRBO, I went through Airbnb, I went to Emerald Coast Booking, I went to everything, and I can't find what I'm looking for. Chris, I see a lot of queen size beds, but not a king. And that's a prerequisite. I got to go to 38. That's where Oakley, my youngest daughter, wants to go for fall break. Doesn't want to go to any of our properties, right? Forcing her to go to Montana twice this year. So we got to give in. So we're going to 38. Bria's requirement, beachfront. My requirement, king bed, right? So I have the first two. I got 38, I got beachfront, but I can't find anything under $1,000 with a king bed. Not even a shithole, to be honest with you. So I want you to understand, as Avery came in and say, people think the market's saturated. It's not. You can stand out. So when I'm talking to you about building a super property, about standing out, about having king beds versus queen beds, coffee bars, beach equipment, parking spaces, 6-seater golf carts or 4-seaters for a property of this size, we're only looking for a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom. This is part of your marketing strategy. If your property is average and it's not geared towards that ideal buyer, and I'm willing to go from these $500 properties that I see right now to spend $1,000 a night. Like literally, I'll double what I'm paying you for a 5-night stay to literally give me a king size bed. Because without that, I'm going to go someplace else. And I'm going to have to tell Oakley, hey, there's plenty of you. I see that posted in there that, hey, Panama City Beach, Anna Maria Island. I've got this amazing house. I've seen amazing properties, 2 streets or 3 streets off the beach. That doesn't check the buy box that I'm forced to comply with my daughter and my wife. And these are things I joke, but this is the reality of marketing and positioning your properties. This is why I fucking crush it, because I totally get this and I totally understand it. And this is a marketing opportunity you guys are missing. It's a sales opportunity that you guys are missing. You have to crush this part of it. You got to step out of your skin and you got to step into your buyer's skin. And if you want to go from that $569 a night ADR to $900, you need to follow what I'm throwing down here, right? Chris, you see it all the time. You see it when we go to dinner. You see it when we go and stay in hotels. You see it on airline flights. You see the buyer persona. And you and I are completely different buyer persona. You're way more minimalistic than I am, but I get bougie about stuff. And whether it's hotels, whether it's comfort, it's always like me and Chris always rent full-size SUVs, right? If I can, if they're available. Why do Chris and I need a full-size SUV? We don't, but I need to be comfortable, or I want to be comfortable. So these are the things that you guys need to be marketing, folks. These are the things I want you to understand. All right, I want to take a quick second. Hey, Nicole from Destin, how are you? Hello from Carissa in Walla Walla. I've heard of Walla Walla, but I have no idea where that is, Chris. And what state is Walla Walla in? My neighbor, Scott Hill from Market My STR, April from Boise, Jenny from LA. Where are you at in LA? Are you in like Reseda? Are you in West LA? Are you in the OC? Come on, I grew up there. I know a little bit about it. Kirk from Connecticut. I know which Kirk that is. Chris. No, that's Chris. Shannon from Washington. Janice from Houston. There's my girl from 30A. Maybe it's a guy. I have no idea, but I need somebody from 30A. Joe from Washington. I'm excited that you guys are here. Kevin from South Randall. Kevin, that's back-to-back limo people, I think. Tiffany from Atlanta. Thank you, everybody, for being here. It's awesome. I'm really excited you are. I think my friend's condo will be perfect. We'll send you awesome, whoever that is. Seagrove's great, but I'm not going on the other side of Eastern Lake. I literally got to be in Seagrove down to the Gulf Place. Between Gulf Place and Seagrove, right? That's it. I'm not going on the other side of Eastern Lake. I got to be able to get to Seaside and Watercolor to go drink some wine while I'm there. Let's see. Ryan, can you explain further how you're working your Facebook funnel into Market My STR along with an email funnel, etc.? So one of the cool things, I'll let Chris elaborate a little bit deeper on this, Ryan, but you can use any link you want inside of a Facebook ad. You can even convert inside of a lead ad if you want, and then zap that information or use an integrated platform to move that out into a funnel. So the reality is you take your Facebook ad, then let's say your destination is going to be your sales page or your website inside of Market My STR. I come in, I either book or I convert on a lead magnet, whatever that is. Then the information either goes into your email list if you have that set up, which you should, or if you have CRM set up, it can go right into the CRM. You can either way, you'll be able to use tags and trigger a funnel, like set up the 200-day funnel. And then you can incorporate email and text message. Facebook will handle the retargeting part on its own. And Chris, you can talk a little bit more, because I haven't done this for a while, about how to set up the length of time for retargeting, the reach, which is basically how many times they're going to see it on a daily basis, and kind of how you set that up.
Yeah, so the important part is I can't retarget off of something I don't own. So the Market My STR, it starts with having that landing page to send people to, because if you don't own the content, then I can't retarget them. So to send them to the landing page, which then I can have the ability to retarget from, there's 1,000 things you can do: length of time on the page, whether they visit one page or multiple pages, kind of how they interacted on the page. There's lots of ways to do it, to be able to retarget that way. But I think people think Facebook ads are kind of one-dimensional. Like you mentioned, there's other types of Facebook ads. So you can do lead ads, which you could then zap into Market My STR to trigger a email funnel that happens after that. You could do a lead magnet. That was something that came up during mine and Mark's workshop during the STR Wealth Conference, where you create a valuable piece of content, for those of you who don't know what lead magnet is, and in exchange for your valuable piece of content. This isn't just like the 5 coolest places in Gulf Shores. This is like the 5 hidden gems only locals know about for the food scene. You know, it's something someone
That's
really,
what I
really,
talk
really
about,
wants.
where the locals eat all the time. Give them the
Yeah.
real stuff. Don't give them the TripAdvisor and Yelp crap. That's
Yep.
phoning it in. That's the wussy way. That's the lazy way to do stuff. You got to take those 2 extra steps and give them the gold.
Yep. And you create a piece of content, a PDF that still has your property in it, still has your branding around it. But in the end, they're exchanging their email for you to be able to get it and then remarket to them. They're getting a PDF that's valuable to them. It doesn't have to be all food related. I know that's an easy one we usually go to, because most people get it pretty quickly. It could just be, you know, the top the best intermediate runs on Whitefish for skiing, the best hiking trails, the hiking trails you have to see. You know, there's lots of things you can make it more
packed, or the most private hiking trails. Where do you get the best sunset in 30A or Destin? All of these things that only locals will know. And by the way, I'm doing marketing for you guys. Those of you that said you have places in 30A that are beachfront, you have a queen bed, I'll buy you the fucking bed, right? That's fine. Upgrade to a king. Going to do the marketing for you. Send me your link, and if I book, then buy the bed. Here's the deal. I like Mattress Firm 12-inch medium sleepies with a pillow top on top of it. That's my favorite mattress, just FYI.
Scott, I totally forgot. Scott, I'm sorry. There's certain things you can do back and forth with automations and Market My STR that are unique to Market My STR. One of them is being able to do lead forms straight into Market My STR. You can also do custom audiences back the other direction as well. It's one of the few places where a lot of times automations are the funnel side, where it's like, wait 1 day, then send an email, wait 3 days and send a text message. A lot of those are
because of the direct integration, without having to zap or do anything manual. You can zap in and start sending text and email immediately. But as you're generating, bookings through StayFi and whatever, and it goes in, that can go back into a custom audience in Facebook, to where you can start retargeting immediately as well. Nobody else can deliver that. I'm just saying. That is something that is huge from a Market My STR perspective. Speed is critical.
Yeah, to answer this question real quick, the thing is still called a pixel. It's just they keep changing where you find it. It's actually under data sources now. It's in the same spot. I actually just did this with someone this morning. I've walked them through where to find the pixel, how to install it, all that stuff. So it just keeps moving around slightly, but they usually give you a direction of it. And this is why I always tell people with Facebook that there's a difference between knowing how to do something and knowing what to do. And a lot of the things that we try and focus on are the what to say, what to do, where to put your focus. The how constantly changes as the platform updates, but you don't need to watch a video from us on how to run a Facebook ad. There's 1,000 YouTubers that do a very, very good job of like, here's the button to click and here's the thing to select and here's all that. What I want you to know specifically is the who to target, what to say, why you focus on the buyer persona, all of those things around it Once you understand that, the actual easy parts going in there and clicking the buttons and doing the selections, it's all the understanding the other side of it, of why you're targeting them, why they would want to click your ad, why you use this image over that image. That's the difficult part. And that's why, that's why we do Marketing Mondays. That's why we've done training before. It's the difficult part, and it's why we focus all of our time on it and not as much time on the technical, here's the buttons to click inside of Facebook.
Chelsea, how do you know when you need Facebook marketing? I mean, if you're not like ecstatic doing, if you don't look like a 13-year-old or 14-year-old girl at a Taylor Swift concert when she first walks out on the stage and she's screaming at the top of her lungs, if you don't feel that way about your bookings, then you probably need to be doing off-platform marketing, and you might need Facebook ads. So, step number one, in my opinion, first thing is buy, sell, trade groups. Number two is email marketing. Number three is Facebook ads. And number four is organic social media. And most people start with organic social media and you don't really know how to do it. And you're not great at creating, interesting and, kind of aesthetically pleasing content. And then you don't do it very well. And then you stop doing it. One of the things that I think is super important if you're going to take on social media organically is that you are batching out content and scheduling, like through Market My STR or another platform. Don't try to do it every day, but you got to have creative chops. One of the reasons that you see me default to video for everything for this business is because I'm just not good at creating content. I can't go into Canva. I don't have that. I don't know what you call it, the eye or anything to be able to do that. So, Noel, number one, buy, sell, trade groups. Number two, email marketing. Number three, Facebook ads. Number four, organic social media, right? And that's the thing that I love. All of those you can do through Market My STR under one platform. And you have the leverage for automation, just like the automation that we just talked about. You can't get, any place else. Hey, whoever that is, hello from SoCal. I'm a SoCal native myself. I don't know who that is, but hey, thanks for the clap there. Lena Hansen. How are you, Lena? So I think that's one of the important things, Chris, is really speed is something that's critical, right? If doing things time are very, very challenging for us because most of you either have a W-2, you have other businesses, whatever it is, and you don't have 10 hours a week, to drop into, a marketing plan. And that's why we give you the hacks to be able to do this easily, right? And do it super cost efficiently. And really the tune today is don't let your guests check out without capturing their emails. And I mean every guest. That's why I love StayFi. And that should go into a funnel. And you should be using like my 200-day funnel that's in Market My STR and using text messages and email, to bring them back. Don't run an ad and spend ad dollars without having retargeting in place. Those are kind of the morals of the story. And you hear me use the term taking 2 extra steps. You have to take these 2 extra steps right off the bat. That means invest a little bit more time to create the funnel on either side, a retargeting ad funnel, or an email text funnel to follow up with past guests. And then really when you combine them, that's amazing. But that's how I get ahead because most people are too lazy to do this. And this is where property management companies, Chris, or even the large, co-hosts, they can't do it. It's one of the reasons I stay small with my co-hosting because I can't do what I do owning my properties and co-hosting at scale. I can't have 100 properties or 100 doors and be able to execute this stuff. It's just a time suck at that point. And I have yet to find people or agencies that can do it as well as, I can or we can together. Best place to create a direct booking page. It's going to end up sounding like a freaking commercial, but I said StayFi. That's to collect your emails from Arthur. It's Market My STR. You have my templates. Just grab what I have in there. If you can go to our YouTube channel, Chris, while I'm talking, find the build the sales page. And Chris built in Market My STR a year and a half ago or a year ago a website for my Montana property. It's called Lodge 93. And he did that in, what was it, Chris? Like 42 minutes or something like that? Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
I think it was super duper fast. And I'm going to go ahead and show this to you real quick because we broadcasted this live on YouTube. And it's one of the things that's super important. Like, we're trying to make this super easy for you. So there's over 350 templates inside of Market My STR, but you get all of mine. So this template's in there. So you can just go and copy this. You know, you get the drone footage, all of this stuff that's already designed inside of it. And if you're on OwnerRes or a platform that has a direct booking widget, you can just scroll right down here and book directly right there. And I can make this bigger to where you can see it. But this template, and we have others in there, Chris, right? So Chris shot this drone footage. You're able to embed this, you know, right inside of the website, drop in some images, book now button, watch what happens. Boom, it takes me right down to book now. I select my dates and boom, I'm booking. I don't have to leave to go to a Huffy page. I don't have to leave, you know, to go to another page. And that's something that people make the mistake of. Hey, I'm just going to use a direct booking website and then I'm going to have somebody click to a page and then go over there to book because they don't have a direct booking widget. This is exactly why you want this here, because that is the true value. We're not taking, you know, we're not paying for traffic and then sending them someplace else. You have to have it all self-contained, which is something that Market My STR is great about.
Absolutely.
Anything to add, Chris?
Just that there's the reason I love Market My STR. I think I talked about this with Scott the Monday right after the conference was it's so easy to build in and customize. So things like adding that video back behind isn't something that all platforms can do or be flexible enough to do. But also the flip side of that is that most platforms, when you run into issues or you have help or you have a struggle with something, they're like, the only response you get is like, I can send an email and then maybe 3 days later I get a response from them about like, oh yeah, like we've used others, ClickFunnels and lead pages and all kinds through the past. But one, the Market My STR team is incredible through the support system of being able to help and get you help and find a solution for you if there is an issue or if you're trying to do something special. Two, Scott and the team, they really are understanding our industry. This isn't just a solution. There's many out there that are just generic for any type of business. They're trying to build things specific for us to be able to, that only this platform will be able to do because it's so specific to short-term rentals. And so there's lots of things. I've even added a custom code I've been working on for stuff for our listings, like galleries and light boxes and other things that aren't available in any landing page builder, but because we're able to create them as templates for us, and then you guys will be able to have them through the same process. So there's lots of things that we're working on or things that we're doing, including a ton more templates that are coming down the pipeline very, very soon.
So Samantha, if we have properties in the same area like Destin, can we use one email list or one list per property? So here's what I would recommend for you, Samantha. Doesn't matter what platform you're using. Could be Market My STR, Constant Contact, Active Campaign, HubSpot, whatever. I would tag the person. If I stay at property 1, you tag me when I move into Market My STR under property 1 in the email list and in the CRM. And then when Chris stays at property, so I stay in Miramar, Chris stays in Destin. I'm at your 2-bedroom. He's at the 5-bedroom because he's a big baller, bigger than myself. So then you put Chris into the big baller list, right? You tag him with big baller. You tag me with, you know, poor man's Paul, right? So I get tag 1 because he stays at property 2. And then you email me and create the 200-day funnel, right? And then you email me and introduce me to property number 2 or property number 3 or property number 4, right? Through the indoctrination email, and that you get to showcase that. So the easy way out is to just put everybody into one list and send everybody the same stuff. You won't convert at as high of a rate as if you treat us differently, right? So the other segment that's really important if you're using StayFi is that if Chris and I are staying in your 2-bedroom together and I'm the booker, you tag me as a customer. If Chris is not the booker, then he's tagged as an SQL. That's called a sales qualified lead, because he has experienced and stayed inside of your property, right? Now, if your property is like in the 50th percentile or below, if you're not going to make any upgrades, then I probably wouldn't do this, actually. You know, if you have below like a 4.7 rating and you're not a Superhost and you're getting negative reviews and you're not implementing change for that, I don't think you can market your way out of being a shitty host, to be honest with you. So once again, I think it's really important for us to be super realistic on the quality of our properties, the quality of the experience that we deliver to our guests, and how we're hosting and how our properties are really viewed by our guests.
Absolutely.
Do you have a YouTube that shows a walkthrough of the key features of Market My STR? When I try to post on buy sell trade groups on Facebook, we get flagged, and then they sent me a notice to say it's not allowed. Well, you got to read the rules first. That's number one. And the buy sell trade groups, is there a specific way to post on these groups under a different category to stay in the Facebook guidelines? You do not post under real estate. You just post under miscellaneous, and you just follow what I have in the Superhost library. It's pretty simple. There is a YouTube video that I think, Chris, did you share the link for the how to build a page? And
I was about to go, because we're in a group. I have to actually be on Facebook to do it. So let me go find
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I don't know if Scott's still here. There's plenty of videos. I don't know if they're on YouTube.
I was going to pop the there's a specific one that's a demo on the Market My STR. I just dropped that in.
Okay. Market My STR demos. There you go.
That kind of walk through some stuff.
4.7. How dare you? Somebody, Samantha, 4.7 or below is not good on AirBNB or VRBO. If people are below 4.7, you need to make some changes and get that up. I mean, look, almost everybody gets Superhost status at 4.8 or higher these days. If you're not a Superhost, you probably need to improve what you're doing as a host. Unfortunately, don't take that personally. Well, maybe you should, and then make some changes. But anything else you want to discuss, Christopher?
Just one last thing. I'm gonna leave you all with this: that objective or the goal of an ad does matter. It's not just a random thing you choose in the selections. Last week, I was reviewing someone's ads, and they've been doing awareness, which basically means that you get as many eyes as possible on an ad. But then they were wondering, why weren't they getting bookings? Why weren't they getting clicks to the ad? It's because the objective of awareness, it was getting what they expected to get. And that under that objective, it's to get as many eyes as possible, get as many views on the ad as possible. But Facebook prioritizes, it knows what we do, right? Like Bill, it knows that you click ads. So do I. And so that's why I get shown certain ads more.
Facebook knows Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, all three know I buy a lot of shit off their platforms.
1,000%. But because of that, it prioritizes you for people who they know you're going to click. They know you're most likely going to buy. They can track all those things. And so when you choose an objective, if you're wanting video views, choose video views. If you want just people to see it, choose awareness. If you want people to click it, choose traffic, because traffic is the objective designed for people who click and actually go and visit landing pages. So please do that. And Candace, I know it was you, but I didn't want to say your name, but since you did, it was Candace.
Do what?
The review from last week, but it's okay because now we got you on the right track, and I can't wait to see you crush it.
What are you talking about?
Candace for the objective.
Gotcha. All right, so let me share my screen. I'm going to show you for whoever was asking about the buy sell trade group. Why is my computer running so slow? Holy smokes.
You get the hamster spinning.
Yeah. All right. So this is a post. This is actually from, I just pulled in a group, May 7th, 2022. This is just posted as a miscellaneous category. Do not put yourself into like the rental, or I think it's either rental or real estate category, because then they're thinking that you're like a long-term rental. Very traditional. So this is done, 2 years ago. So this is not fully loaded with emojis. Now I have probably another 5 or 6 emojis, but it's what I call the emoji post. And here's something that's really important I want you to understand. These are just like the top 7 or 8 images that I have in my listing, but this is critical here. You can see this here, right? I've got my Airbnb link, and I have the direct booking link with no Airbnb fees that are here. And a lot of people say, well, how come you don't have just the direct booking link? Because I need Airbnb as a trust agent. The trust agent is critical. And now today, I mean, this was 2 years ago, I put Airbnb, VRBO, and my direct booking link in every one of them. Using this term, and there's a reason that this is in all caps, because a lot of properties at this lake, just like when you're in North Carolina or the Northeast, there's people charge for linens. They don't have linens. They don't have wine glasses. They only give you one towel, one roll of toilet paper. So I use the term fully loaded all the time. This house is fully loaded with everything you need, from wine glasses to pizza cutters and cornhole and video games to beach towels. We got everything covered. That is, I want the guest, the potential booker, to feel like, man, I don't need to bring anything. And what it does is that leads to questions. Hey, do you have this? Do you have that? Yeah, we have quick dry towels for the hot tub or the lake. We've got paddle boards. We've got everything that you need. We have the slow cooker. We pretty much have everything except for the mosquito nets, right? So this is part of the marketing. The way that we stock our properties, the way that we design our properties plays into a role and is part of the marketing. So then what happens here is, you notice you don't get a lot of comments. This was in April, so that was a month before. Same exact post. So somebody said they get kicked off. I typically don't post more than once a month. This is same exact property. June 4th of 2022. Property's different. Look at different images, right? So the listing's a little, copies the same, images are different. This goes all the way back to November of 2020. This was my very first beach house. This is Bella Vista. Chris remembers that old dog. This is my first lake house that I had. So what's interesting is this lake house is located between Birmingham and Nashville. So what do you think my top markets are? Nashville, where I live, Birmingham second, then all of Mississippi, because there's no clean lakes in Mississippi. And as Chris knows, this is like the second cleanest lake in the South. Once again, there's for all the way back to 2019. Value stacking. Everything that I have is a value. So 2019, I'm running golf carts. See the mural here, Chris? You remember the mural at Bella Vista?
Yeah.
That was a hand-painted mural before murals were popular, in this industry. And kind of just the kitchen was ginormous. The bathroom, remember how big that master bathroom was? It's kind of dated now, but that thing is freaking huge.
Monstrous.
And that's look at the furniture in there from 2019. Holy shit, that'd be the first thing that we would remove today. Look at that bedding. That was before Bria, took the bedding to the next level. This is, God, how long ago was this? This was 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Kind of just all of these things. Remember that sauna that was in there that I removed and put in the bunk beds? But this is something that's super important. So Chris remembers bikes, paddle boards, golf cart. This is the stuff that was commonplace in 30A. Nobody had it. Literally the first person to buy a cart. And this is like only 1 or 2 neighborhoods that you can literally drive golf carts. And if you see right through that palm tree, that's where the parking area is right there to be able to get onto the beach. This was a tier 2 property. Nobody had this stuff. We had a coffee bar here. We were doing bikes before everybody knew about this stuff. This was before I started Build Short-Term Rental Wealth, before I started talking about this. This is one of the reasons I went, this is in Fort Morgan, Alabama, as opposed to going to 30A, because I could create a competitive advantage without having to have all this stuff required. Showcase that stuff inside of your buy-sell trade group. Show the value propositions. That's the stuff that I'm talking about. Chris remembers the views on the 2 huge back decks. We could walk out the back and get onto the beach in like less than 100 steps. We're showcasing all of that in our marketing and in our trade groups. Did I miss any other question?
I think the one thing you highlighted, I didn't want people to miss, is that you talk about this in the library, but you want to follow the rules of the group, like anywhere else. Just like if you come into our Facebook group and start posting stuff you shouldn't be posting, you're going to get kicked. Your post is going to get deleted. The rules are clear. If you post certain things in certain groups that don't allow that, they're going to delete the post or kick you from the group. And so just follow 100%. The rules.
So that's the first thing that you have to do, is read the group rules before you even put a post. And then you need to warm up the group too. You better go in and comment, and add a little bit of value first before you put up your first post. You don't want to go in and join and then just go, boom, post your short-term rental. You want to wait a few days and get some action going, get some conversation going, help some people then go back in and do it. Somebody just asked about how do I actually post. I just showed you. Just go to groups, post it. What does that say? What's up, guys? Bill, you're looking great. Chris, you too. Mike and Banner Elk. Oh, thanks, Mike. Man, Mike, I haven't seen you. What have you been up to, buddy? Haven't seen you for a long time. Bree and I were talking about you the other day. Hope you're doing well. That was me. 36,000 plus views, but it was set for awareness versus traffic. Canvas. That's where, Chris, a lot of people kind of mess up and they don't know what to do from, the objective part, right? And I think it's really great to, like Candace, to go in and get 36,000 views, but then that's where you want to retarget off of the percentage of when I'm watching your video. You can retarget me if I watch 3 seconds or 25% or 50%. I'd put the majority of my money into 50% to 100%. But here's also what's really critical when you do a video like that. You need to understand the value propositions that are in it and where they fall in regards to the percentage of watch time in that video, and then retarget accordingly.
Absolutely.
Have you had luck with Google Ads using our $1,000 credit? Honestly, have never ran Google Ads for a short-term rental. For one reason, they're super duper expensive, and you're competing against Airbnb, VRBO, TripAdvisor, Booking.com, Vacasa, Evolve, that just have these mega budgets, right? So have not done that. If I had, the only place I would probably do that would be to try to compete with the property management companies, would be Gulf Shores, because I have so many properties down there owned and co-hosted to where I could make that valuable enough. Now, I do believe that there's an opportunity for you guys to pair up with people like 3 or 4 other hosts that have 2 or 3 properties in a market and pool your dollars together, create one website, and then go and be able to try to test out some Google Ads. But I would not be spending, a ton of money on Google Ads for one property. I just don't see the ROAS, the return on ad spend, working with Google Ads, because it's like, what, Chris, probably 7-8 times as expensive as running Facebook ads.
Yeah, I would play with that. Might be an interesting way to do a lead magnet, though, because that probably would be less competitive than
100%.
Vacation rental or vacation home or short-term rental or whatever terminology. All those keywords are just going to be so flooded. You're going to pay so much per click. And to think that even if it is not a lot compared to a booking. So say you paid $50 a click and your average bookings, a couple $1,000, doesn't seem that bad. But to think that that's just a click, and then they get to look at the property, and then they get to see if you have availability when they want. And so even though one click may be $50, if it takes 100 people or 200 people to click before you get one booking, that's the return on ad spend part where it just doesn't make as much sense. Especially the reason the property managers are able to do it is because they have such a large inventory that there's most likely a property / availability on the dates that someone's looking for when they're actively searching. Where if you only have one or even a couple of properties, you probably don't have that. So it's just not worth it.
Right. I agree 100%. Awesome. All right. We're like 18 minutes over our 30-minute allotment. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on Marketing Mondays. We'll do this again next Monday. So set your calendar and make sure you bring a friend next time. Have a great day, everybody, and happy hosting.